Ladies and gentlemen, everyone wants wealth, but almost no one is willing to do what it takes to earn it. That's the truth. Most won't say out loud. Not because they can't, but because deep down, they've lost the fire, the drive to push when it's hard, to focus when it's boring, to show up every day when there's no applause, no reward, just the grind. That's where the separation begins. Not in talent, not in luck, in effort, in energy, and how hard you're willing to work when no one's watching. If you've ever felt stuck, tired, unmotivated, like you know you were meant for more but can't seem to unlock it, then this message is for you. Because wealth isn't found, it's forged. It's built in the dark, on early mornings, through focused hours, and a relentless refusal to settle if you're ready to stop waiting for motivation and start creating it. If you're ready to build the habits, the mindset, and the intensity that wealth demands, then keep listening. This is how it begins. Wealth, true wealth, isn't sitting in a bank account. It's not parked in your driveway or hanging in your wardrobe. It's created in the mind long before it appears in the real world. But here's something they never told you. You don't just get rich, you become rich. And it never happens by accident. Wealth is built piece by piece with discipline, obsession, and consistent alignment. The world will tell you to work hard, but hard work alone isn't enough. Ants work hard, so do machines. Effort without purpose is just exhaustion disguised as ambition. If you want wealth, you must decide, not wish, not hope, decide to live a life that stands above average. Everything begins to change the moment you stop asking, how do I make more money? And start asking, what kind of person must I become to attract the life I want? It all starts in the mind. Your mindset is the seed of your wealth. Plant thoughts of scarcity and you'll produce just enough to survive. Plant thoughts of strength and you'll build something that lasts beyond your lifetime. Ask yourself, what do I believe about money, about work, about myself? Because no strategy in the world can help you if deep down you believe you're not worthy of success. You must rewire the story you tell yourself. Wealth is not evil. Desire is not greed. Wanting more is not selfish. It's meaningful. When good people get rich, they don't create bigger problems. They create bigger solutions. But you'll never attract wealth with a poverty mindset. You'll never live in freedom if your soul still clings to limitation. And you'll never earn more than what your identity can handle. If you want lasting motivation, don't just chase income, chase internal alignment. Wake up every day and ask, what version of me must show up today to build the future I said I wanted yesterday? That question alone is worth more than any quote. Because real motivation doesn't come from words, it comes from clarity. When your vision is vague, your drive will vanish. But when your vision is vivid, when it lives inside you, when you've tasted freedom, impact, and legacy, then work becomes something else. It becomes purpose. You stop grinding, you start building. You stop forcing, you start aligning. You stop needing a reason because you are the reason. But let's be honest. Wealth isn't owed to you. It doesn't respond to your intention. It responds to your intensity. It demands sacrifice. You'll need to release comfort. Walk away from people who love your ease but fear your evolution. Eliminate distractions like your future depends on it, because it does. Every single day, you're either investing in your future or stealing from it. There is no neutral. There is no pause. Time doesn't wait, and neither does success. So what are you choosing? Comfort or commitment? Distraction or direction? Pleasure or purpose? You think you need motivation. You don't. You need a reason, a fire, a vision so strong that it makes your excuses powerless. You want wealth? Then here's the truth. You have to earn the right to handle it. Not by waiting around, but by working with intention, intensity, and consistency. The moment you make that internal shift, the world starts to respond. Opportunities begin to lean your way. Walls turn into doors. And money? It becomes a tool for your mission, not the master of your mind. This is where the journey gets real, where desire meets discipline, where dreams are forged in the fire of your daily choices. You don't just want to be wealthy in terms of money. You want to be rich in freedom, rich in purpose, rich in life. And to get there, You must transform. You must become a different kind of person. Most people say they want more, but they still think like the broke, move like the complacent, and act like time is unlimited. But wealth doesn't show up for the wishful. It answers to the warrior, the one who wakes up and declares, I don't work just to survive. I work to lead, to master, to dominate. And domination isn't about greed. It's about control. Control over your time, control over your emotions, control over the direction of your life. Every single day, ask yourself, am I working to escape my current life or to build the one I dream about? If your only fuel is fear, stress, or obligation, you will eventually burn out. But if your drive comes from vision, if it's built on a sacred image of your family never having to struggle again, of owning your time, of hearing your name spoken in rooms you've never entered, then you'll move with purpose. You'll move with fire. You'll push past fatigue. You'll ignore fear. You'll build while others are wasting time because you know what they don't. You're not just working for money. You're working to become magnetic, a force, a leader, a new standard. You're working to deserve the future. And that means showing up even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to, because feelings lie. They crave comfort. They chase validation. They want the easy way out. But wealth doesn't arrive through comfort or applause. It arrives through alignment. It arrives when you stop treating your potential like it's optional. So ask yourself, what if for the next 90 days, you lived like your financial breakthrough depended on what you did today? No delays, no complaining, just commitment. You'd rise with focus. Eliminate distractions, train with precision, sell with confidence, build like you were meant for it because you are. This journey doesn't demand perfection, it demands obsession. Obsession with growing, with stretching, with doing what others won't see. So one day you can live a life they can't believe. So stop negotiating with laziness. Stop entertaining mediocrity. Stop pretending like you have endless time. You're standing in the middle of a window, the sacred window between who you are and who you could be. And it's closing, minute by minute, excuse by excuse. Rise. Step into the version of yourself who doesn't need motivation because they are driven by mission. And when you're led by mission, you don't chase wealth, you embody it. So lock in because we're only now approaching the level where your destiny, this isn't just about making money. It's about making yourself into someone who commands a life others only fantasize about. Because wealth isn't running toward you, it's waiting behind the discipline you've avoided. It's in the early mornings you keep snoozing, the focused work you keep postponing, the bold moves you keep hesitating to make. If you truly want wealth, then you must learn to face yourself, not occasionally, but daily. Look yourself in the mirror and ask, did I work today like someone who expects to earn millions? Did I lead, create, and move like someone who refuses to settle for average? Or did I coast? Did I comply, letting life steer me instead of taking control? Wealth doesn't respond to busyness, it responds to boldness. And boldness lives where most people never dare to go, right through the center of fear. That's why building wealth isn't for the weak. It's for the focused, the obsessed, the rare few who understand that pressure isn't a problem. It's a platform. Every challenge becomes training. Every failure becomes refinement. Every delay is a tool sharpening your hunger. Because wealth isn't earned solely through hours. It's earned through identity. You evolve into someone the world must reward. Because your value is undeniable, your standards are unshakable, and your vision is so vivid that the world has no choice but to take notice. That's why average minds won't understand you. They'll ask, why are you working so hard? They'll say, slow down, take it easy. But they don't see what you see. They don't feel what drives you. They don't carry your hunger. You're not building for a car or a round of applause. You're building for freedom, for impact, for the kind of peace that comes from owning your time and needing nothing from anyone. That's the fire. That's the real why. Not just to get rich, but to never feel powerless again. Because when you master your work ethic, when you transform effort into identity, when you discipline yourself beyond your doubts, success stops being something you chase and starts being something that chases you. So how do you stay motivated to work hard for wealth? You don't wait for motivation. You decide that your future is non-negotiable. You work like your freedom depends on it, because it does. You move with intention. You build like someone who's done with lack, done with pretending, done with being anything less than what they were made to become. You don't need hype. You need conviction. You don't need perfect timing. You need a definitive decision. And that decision happens right now. To stop shrinking, to stop waiting, to stop hoping, and to build. Build the version of you that earns what you once only wished for. Keep going, because you weren't built for halfway. You weren't made for mediocrity or maybe later. You were made to rise. You were made to create wealth, not just with your actions, but through your character. Because true wealth isn't in what you own. It's in who you are when no one's watching. It's in your daily habits. It's in the hunger you refuse to silence. It's in the standards you hold, even when it's uncomfortable. Most people don't lack talent. They don't lack time. They lack standards. They accept average work. They accept average effort. And they live with average results. But not you. You're not here just to make a living. You're here to make a mark. And that means every single day is a test of your focus, your will, and your willingness to evolve. Because wealth won't come to the version of you that simply wants it. It comes to the version of you that's ready for it. And readiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn. So stop trying to get rich with a mindset built for survival. Stop trying to succeed with habits made for escape. Stop trying to build legacy on the routines of someone who's still just trying. This isn't about trying, it's about becoming. And becoming, that's the hardest part. It demands the death of the old you, the death of outdated habits, the death of excuses and stories like I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'm not like them. Yes, you are. You are exactly like them if you're willing to pay the price. Not with luck, not with shortcuts, with execution. Wake up early, stay up late, block out the noise, do the work, read what others ignore, invest in what others fear, work when others sleep, study when others scroll, act when others wait, not because it's easy, but because it's required. This is the cost of freedom, the cost of owning your life, the cost of building wealth that doesn't just bless you, but generations after you. Let this be the line in the sand. From this moment forward, you don't work for money. You work for mission. You work for mastery. You work to become so damn valuable that money chases you. You don't need luck. You don't need pity. You don't even need motivation. You just need a reason bigger than your excuses. If your why is sacred, your how becomes relentless. Because when you work hard toward wealth with clarity, hunger, and honor, there is no force on earth that can stop you. So stand still for a moment, not to pause, but to lock in, because what's coming next isn't the end of a speech, it's the beginning of a revolution inside you. If you want wealth, true wealth, you have to stop asking for it and start earning it. Not by working harder than everyone else, but by becoming the one who never stops. You become the standard, the example, the quiet storm that builds in silence and arrives in force. You wake up each morning and whisper, I don't need it easy. I just need it mine. You wipe the doubt from your face and lace up the mindset of a millionaire in motion. Because wealth is not a reward for the gifted. It's the inevitable result of alignment between who you are and who you refuse to die without becoming. The late nights are yours. The early mornings, yours. The discipline, the discomfort, the daily choices no one sees, they are yours. And because of that, so is the freedom. So is the power. So is the legacy. You are not tired. You are not stuck. You are loading greatness. You are not lost. You are building the map. One decision at a time. No more waiting. No more wishing. No more craving a life that can only be created. Create it. Wake up and move like the person you're here to be. Speak like it, think like it, work like it, walk like your name belongs on buildings. Speak like your blood carries royalty. Act like your family's freedom depends on what you do today, because it does. You are not chasing wealth anymore. You are becoming wealth. So build every day, every hour, every rep, every breath. Build like the world has no idea what's coming, because it doesn't. But you do. You know exactly who you are. And from this moment forward, the world will know it too. The pain you feel right now, it's not punishment, it's potential knocking. But most people hear that knock and run the other way. They say, why is this so hard? They say, I just wish it were easier. But here's the truth. The goal was never for life to be easy. The goal was to become stronger. Wishing for easy is the anthem of the uncommitted. It's the lullaby of the lost. Because life will never hand you peace, it hands you pressure. And it's your response to that pressure that defines you. You don't build power in comfort, you build it in the forge, you build it in the struggle. You build it when everything in you wants to quit and you keep going anyway. So stop wishing for things to get lighter. Stop praying for the rain to stop. Learn to dance in it. Stop begging for the road to smooth out. Grow boots tough enough to march it anyway. Because the truth is simple. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. And becoming hurts. Becoming requires fire, not to destroy you, but to refine you. But you have to want it. You have to want it more than comfort, more than safety, more than the opinions of those who gave up on their own dreams. You have to want growth more than ease, because ease is a liar. It promises peace and delivers emptiness. But growth gives you something nothing else can. Becoming unstoppable. It begins in the mind. Everything you are, everything you're not, everything you could be, it all begins in the silent war happening inside your head. Do you tell yourself, I can't do this? Or do you say, I will find a way? Do you shrink when it gets heavy? Or do you rise and say, this is what I was built for? Your mindset is not a luxury. It is your foundation. And if that foundation is cracked by excuses, it will collapse under pressure. But if it's fortified with discipline, with purpose, with vision, then no storm can shake you. Every time you choose growth over ease, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. Every time you say no to distraction, no to delay, no to the voice inside that whispers, take the shortcut, you carve character into your soul. And that character, that relentless, unbreakable character, becomes the armor you wear through life. You see, discipline's not deprivation. It's devotion. Devotion to your future self. Devotion to the version of you that's waiting on the other side of hard things. Because there is no victory without sacrifice. No glory without grind. No transformation without tenacity. And tenacity doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up early, it stays late, it does the work even when no one's watching. Most people don't lose to failure. They lose to fatigue, to boredom, to the seductive comfort of good enough. But you are not most people. You are the few, the rare, the relentless, the one who doesn't fold when it gets dark. You sharpen your vision to see through it, because vision is not something you stumble into. It's something you build. You build it when you stop living by what you feel and start living by what you know. And what you know is this: the most powerful force on earth is not talent, not money, not luck. It's a human being who refuses to quit. So don't ask for it to be easy. Ask to be exceptional. Not someday, not when you feel like it, but today, right now, in this breath. Build the habits, do the work, repeat the reps, raise your standards, reclaim your time. Because every day you wish for ease is the day you lose the average. But every day you choose to grow, even 1%, is the day you become someone no storm can stop. Because this is not just motivation. This is the sound of your old life dying and your new self awakening. The difference between where you are and where you could be, it's not a miracle, but it's not some cosmic alignment. It's not luck or fate or a perfect set of circumstances. It's discipline, it's focus. It's how many times you're willing to say no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's worth it. You don't need everything to go right. You just need to go forward. Every time you choose the higher road, Every time you do what others avoid, you are carving a life most people will never touch. Not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. They wanted it easy, but you wanted to be better. And that desire, that rare, sacred desire to become instead of escape, that's where transformation begins. Because there's a war going on inside you between the version of you that seeks comfort and the version of you that seeks conquest. The question is, which voice will you listen to? One says, just rest a little longer. The other says, get up. We've got work to do. One says, take a break. No one's watching. The other says, act like the whole world is depending on this moment. One says, this is too much. The other says, this is just enough to make you stronger. And every time you choose that second voice, every time you push when it hurts, stay when it's boring, rise when you fall, you are not just improving, you are ascending. This isn't about motivation anymore. It's about alignment. You're aligning your thoughts with action, your action with purpose, your purpose with power. And that power, it's not loud. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't post. It doesn't boast. It builds. It builds in the silence and the sweat and the sacrifices nobody sees. You are not becoming great by accident. You're becoming great by decision. And that decision to stop wishing it were easier and start demanding more from yourself is the dividing line. That's where everything changes. That's where life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. So burn the list of excuses. Delete the fantasy of the easy way. Set fire to the version of you that only shows up when it feels good. And rise like the entire weight of your destiny depends on it, because it does. You weren't put here to coast. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't created to cope. You were born to conquer, to face the mountain, to walk through the storm, to train your soul in the furnace of adversity until there is nothing left inside you but steel and fire, and the unshakable knowing that you will not be denied. So don't ever again wish for things to come easy with every breath, with every fiber, with every sunrise, to be better than you were yesterday. Because when you get better, everything gets better. But here's the part most won't accept. Growth hurts. Evolution is brutal. Becoming the next version of you means killing the current one, not softly, not gently, with surgical force. You don't stumble into greatness. You sacrifice for it. You bleed for it. And you die to comfort 1,000 times for it. And that pain, that tension between where you are and where you could be, that is sacred. It is not something to escape. It is something to enter. Because the man or woman you were born to be is buried under fear, laziness, validation, addiction, and excuses. And the only way to find them is to dig. Dig when you're tired. Dig when you're doubting. Dig when everything in you says stop and your soul whispers keep going. Because every day you dig, you get closer to the gold. Not the kind you spend, but the kind you become. Let me say this with fire in my lungs. You don't get rich in life by chasing money. You get rich by building value, and value is built when you build yourself. You build value by showing up when no one's clapping, by doing the hard thing when no one's watching, by becoming so consistent, so focused, so intentional that the world has no choice but to take notice, because your results are louder than any words you could ever say. You want to live on your terms? Then build the kind of character that deserves that freedom. You want to walk in rooms and shift the energy? Then build the kind of presence forged in early mornings, late nights, sacrifices that make no sense to others, and standards that most will call too much. Good, let them. You're not here to fit in. You're here to rise. You're here to become a force of nature, the kind of person whose habits are stronger than emotion, whose vision is bigger than the obstacles, whose mind is harder than the mountain. Because when you stop wishing for easy and start living like your life is on the line every single day, you become undeniable. Not overnight, but over hundreds of ordinary days stacked with extraordinary effort. So if today is hard, good. Let it break you open. Let it burn the excuses. Let it teach you how much more you are capable of. Because with every rep, with every early wake up, with every temptation you reject, you are building something the weak can't even imagine. And one day they'll ask how you did it, and you'll smile because they'll never understand. You didn't pray for ease, you prayed for strength. And then you built it with your bare hands. You became the answer. You became the proof. You became the fire. Understand this. You don't get remembered for what you avoided. You get remembered for what you endured, for what you overcame, for what you became in the middle of the pressure when every voice said, stop, and your soul screamed, not yet. Because here's the truth that will outlive us all. The greatest battle you'll ever fight is the one within. It's not the economy. It's not your upbringing. It's not your past. It's the moment you stare into the mirror and decide that who you've been is no longer enough. That the comfort zone has become a cage and the only way out is through the fire. You can't cheat the process. You can't shortcut greatness. You can't hack becoming unstoppable. It's earned. One brutal, beautiful, relentless step at a time. So stop asking for signs. You are the sign. Stop waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. If you choose to wake up and walk like it. Because no one is coming to make it easier. No one is coming to do the work for you. But the day you stop wishing for it to be easier and instead start becoming the person who can handle the hard, that's the day everything changes. The path doesn't get smoother. You get stronger. The weights don't get lighter. You get more powerful. The challenges don't disappear, but you stop fearing them. Because you realize every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. Every delay is a setup for deeper strength. Every loss is sharpening your blade. And one day you'll look back and smile, not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. You'll see how every early morning, every tear you didn't post, every moment you chose discipline over distraction built something sacred. A life of integrity, a spirit of fire, a mind that doesn't just survive, it commands. So remember this every single day. You don't need life to hand you anything. You just need to wake up and ask more from yourself. More focus, more heart, more consistency, more courage, because you're not in competition with anyone else. You're in a war with the version of you that settles. And that version loses today because you're done wishing, you're done waiting, you're done hoping for a softer world. You're building yourself to handle the one that exists. And that is where freedom begins. That is where power is born. That is when life finally says, now you're ready. So go. Live like your life is a masterpiece in progress. Think like the world is being built through you. Act like every step matters, because it does. And rise not for ease, but for greatness. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who are owned by time and those who own it. Those who wake up every morning like prisoners, chained to the ticking clock, always behind, always rushing, always reacting. And then there are the few, the rare few, who bend time like steel in their hands, who make time serve them, who don't chase the hours, they command them. And here's the raw truth. You are either mastering time or being manipulated by it. Time isn't just slipping by, it's being spent. And every second that passes, you're making a trade. Whether consciously or not, you're giving your life away for something. Some people trade it for distraction, some for comfort, some for cheap validation. But the few, the rare few who rise and lead and build, they trade their time for transformation. They use every second as a tool to carve the next version of themselves. Because time's not just important, it's everything. It's the most ruthless, unforgiving currency in existence. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose respect and rebuild it. But time doesn't come back. Once it's gone forever. That's why those who master their time don't chase it. They command it. Every day, the clock resets. You're given 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. That's your inheritance. The difference between mediocrity and mastery, how you spend that invisible fortune. Because time doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't slow down when you're tired. It moves forward without apology, whether you move or not. So the real question isn't where did the time go? The real question is, What did I trade it for? Are you building your life or just surviving it? Are you designing it or drifting through it? Time isn't the villain, it's the mirror. It reflects your values, your habits, your priorities. It reveals without compromise what actually matters to you. You say you want growth, but your time says you want comfort. You say you want success, but your actions say you value distraction. You say you have goals, but your habits say you're still lying to yourself. Time tells the truth. And the truth, it's in your schedule. It's in your routine. It's in what you do when no one's watching. But here's the good news. That mirror, it can be rewritten. Not with wishes, not with vision boards, but with command. Command over your focus. Command over your choices. Command over your boundaries. Because once you learn to command your time, you don't just get more done. You become intentional, focused, clear, and unstoppable. The world runs on average. You must run on alignment. Average people fill their time with motion. Exceptional people fill theirs with meaning. 1 hour of deep work destroys 10 hours of scattered effort. 1 moment of stillness creates more clarity than a week of busyness. 1 decision to reclaim your time can completely shift the direction of your life. This isn't just about time management. This is about self-mastery. It's about becoming the kind of person who walks into every moment like it belongs to them, because it does. Time does not belong to the distracted. It belongs to the disciplined, the focused, the committed. Let's be real. You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem, because you are already doing what matters most to you. You say you don't have time to build your dream, but you find time to scroll. You say you're too busy to get healthy, but you binge another series. You say you want discipline, but your routine is still ruled by emotion. So stop lying to yourself. You don't need more time. You need more truth. Because when you start telling the truth about how you're spending your life, you gain the power to change it. And when you gain that power, when you command it, you don't just control your time, you control your destiny. You need to stop lying to yourself about what you value and start living like your time is sacred. Because when you believe your time is sacred, everything changes. You stop letting other people waste it. You stop letting outdated versions of you steal it. You stop letting fear make appointments in your calendar and excuses set the schedule for your future. In that moment, time doesn't stretch, you do. You become sharper, you become stronger, you move with such alignment to your mission that every second carries weight. Every moment has a pulse. This is how high performers live. Not in chaos, but with command. They don't just show up. They own the day. They wake up with intention before the world can interrupt. They make decisions before distractions have a chance to beg for their attention. That is the edge. That is the separator, the line between the elite and the exhausted. The high performers don't wait to see how the day unfolds. They unfold it themselves. They know this one truth. If you don't design your day will design you. And it will always design you small. So guard your mornings like gold. Guard your calendar like a throne. Say no like your legacy depends on it, because it does. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that could change your life. Stop trying to squeeze your purpose into a busy schedule. Build a schedule that honors your purpose. Stop treating time like it's disposable. Start treating it like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. You want to get rich? Value time more than money. You want peace? Buy your hours back from chaos. You want to lead? Master your rhythm. Not in hustle, but in harmony. Because when you control your time, you control your destiny. Time is not just passing, it's watching. Watching what you tolerate. Watching what you build. Watching what you sacrifice and what you ignore. It watches how you spend the minutes, the very minutes millions would give anything to get back. Time is your most loyal mirror and your most brutal judge. It doesn't care where you're from, doesn't care what happened yesterday. It asks only one question every day with no exceptions. What will you do with me today? And how you answer that question becomes your legacy. So stop letting time slip through your fingers like sand. Stop waiting for permission. Stop postponing your purpose in the name of someday. Someday is a myth. Later is a lie. Eventually is where your dreams go to die. The most powerful moment of your life is not tomorrow. It's now. Now's the only time you can choose, the only time you can act, the only time that's real. Right now, you can shift the trajectory of your life. Right now, you can reclaim your focus, your voice, your value. Right now, you can stop chasing time and start commanding it, because time is not your master, it is your mirror. And when you look into that mirror with clarity, with conviction, with fire in your spirit, you don't just move through time. Time moves through you.